What if My Hero Academia and Dragon Ball were a single story? Before we begin, I will have to alter the powers of the Dragon Ball characters to be reasonable to the powers we see in the My Hero Academia universe. In shorter words, I'm nerfing Goku. I can't have him just One Punch Man the whole My Hero Academia universe. Now that's clear, let's begin. Izuku Midoriya, a quirkless boy with the dream to become the greatest hero to ever live. He is inspired to be like his idol, All Might. Though, at the age of 4 his dreams came crashing down as he is told he would not be developing any quirk for himself. For many years, Izuku Midoriya was bullied by not only his classmates but his once childhood best friend, Katsuki Bakugo. The last day of junior high quickly approaches, and the teacher is ready to pass out applications for the students. Before then he throws the papers to the air, adding how he knows they all want to become heroes. He then remarks how 2 students from his class have applied to the hero course of UA. Izuku Midoriya and Katsuki Bakugo. The whole classroom falls silent before a wind of laughter is heard at the mention of Izuku Midoriya applying for the hero course. Bakugo slanders Izuku for this, adding on how he was a worthless quirkless Deku, and how he would never avail to anything in terms of being a hero. Later that afternoon after school comes to an end, Bakugo confronts Izuku. He asks Izuku to not apply to UA, after that grabbing his notebook on hero facts, blowing it up then throwing it out the window. After picking up his notebook, Izuku starts taking a shortcut below a bridge to his home. When out of nowhere he is attacked by a villain who appeared to be fleeing someone. The villain has the intention of using Izuku as a host to hide from a hero. Trying to resist with no avail, Izuku is on the brink of passing out when he hears a powerful, "I am here." He later wakes up to the sight of his idol, the #1 hero of Japan, All Might. After a bit of a freakout and fanboying, Izuku asks for an autograph, not realizing that it has already been given to him. All Might is ready to leave with the villain captured in a bottle. When Izuku grabs his leg mid-jump, mid-flight, All Might is forced to touch ground as it's too dangerous to have Izuku grab onto him while flying full speed. After scolding Izuku for his recklessness, Izuku asks a very important question to the man whom he views as an idol. Is it possible to be a hero even if you don't have a quirk? Izuku asked. All Might stands there, then turns, giving Izuku his back, then replying, "A world like this is too dangerous for someone who does not have any quirk or supernatural ability of their own. You would be better off as a police officer or EMT." Izuku begins to sob, before yelling in surprise and horror. All Might had deflated into his skinny Might form. Izuku freaks out at the sight of his idol in such a bad state. After explaining his injury to Izuku, All Might apologizes while he heads down the stairs. Stunned and set down, Izuku continues his walk back home, not before hearing an explosion and what appears to be a villain attack. Izuku quickly rushes to the scene, ready to take notes. His eyes widen on the sight of his former best friend being attacked by a sludge villain. Without thinking he sprints towards the scene and does his best to try and free Bakugo from the grip of the villain, with no success. Out of nowhere a laugh was heard, with a powerful "I am here." All Might jumps into the scene punching the villain and freeing Bakugo. After being scolded by various pro heroes, Izuku decides to walk back home ready to give up on his dreams. Not without being intercepted by All Might. All Might explains how he was impressed by Izuku's actions and how he would become a fine hero. After explaining what One for All was and offering Izuku his power, All Might puts Izuku through a harsh training needed for him to inherit One for All. 14 years before the main events. An old man is wandering through the forest at midday, when he then hears a screech in the sky. Then an explosion. He calmly walks to the explosion site, thinking an asteroid must have fallen out of the sky. To his surprise, a spaceship containing a baby with an odd monkey tail appeared. He rushed to the craft and picked up the baby. He thought of taking him to the authorities, But he could only imagine the things the government would do to the defenseless child if he is indeed from alien descent. He takes the boy back home, giving him the name of Goku. Son Goku. Goku grows in the home of this old man. This old man was special, he was a master of martial arts. As Goku grew up, he would learn different techniques from his adoptive grandfather. To the surprise of the old man, this boy was strong, despite being an apparent alien, and not having a quirk. Goku had quite the desire to fight stronger opponents. He was always astonished by strong heroes like All Might, Endeavor, and Mirko. But he would never overlook the skills of heroes such as Eraserhead, Hawks, or Sir Night-Eye. At the age of 5, unfortunately his adoptive grandfather, whose name was revealed to be Son Gohan, passed away from natural causes. Son Goku is taken to a foster home somewhere in Mizutofu, Japan, where he continued to train with the basics taught by his adoptive grandfather. Eventually applying for the hero course in UA High School, hoping to fight strong foes and help those in need. Somewhere in Japan, a company by the name of Capsule Corporation had begun to appear and dominate the support hero industry. A scientist by the name of Burifu Hakase, or simply Dr. Briefs, had made a name for himself, selling support items for hero agencies around the world. Dr. Briefs had a daughter, one with similar or more potential than Dr. Briefs himself. Her name was Bulma Briefs. She had always idolized a scientist by the name of David Shield. She admired his work and dedication to help heroes save lives. She dreamed about one day being a support hero. Capsule Corporation, being a prestigious organization, allowed Bulma to enter UA High through a letter of recommendation. She quickly became the best support student in UA, earning the respect of her first-year teachers and many of the students she was assigned to. Editor here. Keep in mind Bulma is 16 in the original Dragon Ball anime. Spoiler alert. By the time Izuku and Goku enter UA as first years, Bulma is beginning her second year. The day of the entrance exam had arrived. Izuku made his way through the UA gates, not before bumping into Bakugo. "Get out of the way, nerd," Bakugo would say. Izuku would continue walking, not realizing, he ends up tripping himself. Izuku was ready to feel the ground impact, but he didn't. Standing beside him, a brunette who had just used her quirk to save Izuku from certain embarrassment. After small chatter, they both run off to take the exam. A couple feet away from Izuku, while Present Mike explained the exam, sat Son Goku, determined to pass the exam and enter UA High. After taking the written exam, Goku not being the brightest and probably barely passing it, they all made their way into the physical exam grounds. Izuku was lost in his thoughts, thinking about how he will take the bots down. He had no idea how to activate one for all. As the gates open, only Izuku bolts ahead of everyone. Present Mike then yells out, "There are no countdowns in a real battle. Go, go, go." All the students rush into the battleground, destroying the 1, 2, and 3 pointers easily. Goku would have no problem destroying the robots with his bare hands, of course, until he started getting tired and hungry. After a couple minutes, everyone could hear rumbling. It was the 0-pointer. Izuku hears a scream, turns around, then catches the glimpse of the young brunette that had saved him earlier, stuck in between the rubble. Without thinking, Izuku jumps using OFA, breaking his legs in the process. Mid-air, Midoriya clenches his right fist and yells, "Smash!" The 0-pointer is knocked to its feet with a destroyed head. Izuku begins to free fall, thinking, "This is it, this is the end, my hero career has ended before even beginning." Expecting once more to feel the ground in a couple seconds, Izuku closes his eyes tight. He then opens them after not feeling the impact or pain. He sees a buff kid about his age with black spiky hair carrying him to Recovery Girl. Izuku would mutter, "Jesus, is that you?" This would make the spiky-haired kid burst out in laughter. After being taken care of by Recovery Girl, Izuku would attempt to find the spiky-haired kid who had saved him, instead finding the brunette he saved. Ochako would thank Izuku and would also introduce herself. After the introduction was all said and done, Izuku would walk back home, puzzled by the encounter, also nervous. He couldn't destroy any of the 1, 2, 3 pointers. Only the 0 pointer. And of course the 0 pointer was worth 0 points. Later that month, Izuku would receive a letter from UA. All Might appears and welcomes Izuku to his Hero Academia. Izuku starts muttering to himself on how the hell he even passed the exam, then 2 recordings started playing. One of Ochako asking UA staff to give the green-haired boy her points for saving her, and the second video of the spiky-haired kid who had saved him asking UA staff to transfer some of his points to Izuku because of his immense power, arguing that UA couldn't miss out in the potential of that kid. After both videos finish playing, Izuku tears up. All Might would once again appear, explaining what hero points are, and how hero points single-handedly helped him pass the entrance exam. The video would end with "I am proud of you, young Midoriya." The first day of school would quickly arrive. Izuku and Goku would be wandering the halls looking for Class 1A. They would find each other face to face right in front of the 1A classroom. Izuku's eyes would widen. "Wait a minute, you're the spiky-haired kid that saved me mid-fall." Thank you, Izuku would say while bowing profusely. Izuku was about to ask Goku about his quirk, before being interrupted by a spiky-haired blonde. "What are you doing here, Deku?" Izuku would take 2 steps back in fear. Ito would appear, scolding Bakugo, telling him that was no way to greet a fellow classmate. Entering the classroom, Izuku would be approached by the brunette he had saved. Before anything else could be said, they heard a deep tired voice. "It took you all 10 minutes to settle down. This will not do. Put on these uniforms, then meet me in the yard." Everyone would rush to the changing rooms, putting on their gym uniforms. Once outside, Mr. Aizawa would call up Bakugo to the front. Mr. Aizawa would explain how the ball throw portion works. Bakugo would throw the ball using his explosions. 705.2 meters, Aizawa would exclaim looking smug. It was now Izuku's turn. As in normal, Aizawa would cancel Izuku's quirk, asking him to go lighter on himself and to try and not injure his arm. Using only his fingertip, Izuku would throw the ball an astonishing 705.3 meters. "Impressive," comments Aizawa. Next it was Goku. He would warm up his shoulder, before grabbing the ball and throwing it with all his strength. 715 meters, Aizawa exclaimed. Bakugo would freak out. "How the hell did 2 extras get a better score than me?" He was ready to rush at Izuku before being stopped by Goku getting in front of him, then Aizawa grabbing him with his scarf. "You do that again and you're expelled." Bakugo goes back to the line feeling slightly humiliated. The rest of the test would pass with Mineta coming out in last place. Aizawa would remark how it was all a ruse to get them all to try their best. The top 5 were 1. Son Goku, 2. Shoto Todoroki, 3. Momo Yurusu, 4. Katsuki Bakugo, and 5. Tenya Ida. In case you were wondering, Bakugo was pissed about ending in 4th place, though under warning by Aizawa there was nothing he could do about it. After class ended, Izuku, Ochako, Ida and Goku would walk to the train station, getting to know each other. They are then approached by Bakugo. "How the hell did you do that, Deku?" Bakugo would go for an explosion to the face before being knocked senseless by a punch by Goku to the gut. Bakugo would regain his composure, asking how he had thrown that ball, commenting on how he used to be a useless, quirkless human being. Izuku could only comment on how he had changed and was a late bloomer. Bakugo would not like this answer, but with Goku there staring him down, he wouldn't dare to touch Izuku at the moment, rushing off to his home. Goku would then comment, "Geez, what is his problem?" as they all walked to the train station and took their train home. This is it for part 1. I hope you enjoyed the beginning of this series I have dubbed My Hero Academia Z, or simply What If My Hero Academia and Dragon Ball were one single story. The Part 2 script is still on the works. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. If you have any suggestions, feel free to also drop them in the comments. I will do my best to answer them. Remember to like and subscribe to show your support. Z Ultra Productions, out.